So yeah, thank you for joining our briefing. Sorry about that. And getting back to the weather pattern, what you see here is a bunch of green, meaning we're going to have a very moist air mass, very humid and moist air mass, and that's going to support the chance of daily scattered to hit and miss showers and storms. Also along with that threat is typically when you see those places that get the heavy rain the evening before, the day before, those places can see the threat for some dense fog the following morning. So we'll also have that threat for dense fog for those morning commutes. We're going to have that typical summertime heat, so it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. It's going to see highs mostly 85 to 90. There'll be some afternoons where we could see a few lower 90s sprinkled across the area, mostly across our south. And at night, we should see temperatures largely in the mid to upper 60s and lower 70s. Looking at our potential for severe weather, we're looking at an environment where we don't have a main focus for really strong lift. And when you combine that with winds being fairly weak, we really don't see an organized threat for severe storms, but we definitely could see, an isolated strong to severe storm. So in those typical environments, you're usually dealing with some very isolated, strong or strong wind gusts of 40 to 50. So those can bring down some trees and some power lines. As I mentioned earlier, you're looking at the rainfall, and you can see just about every day you do see some pockets of blue in there. But notice how they're scattered. So that's how I mentioned you're talking about hit and miss showers and storms throughout the 5-day total. When it's all said and done, we'll see some places maybe only seeing a ½ inch, but you may see others that have 2 to 3 inches. We have seen some improvement in the drought, and I'll show that little from all this rain we've seen recently. Here's our excessive rainfall outlook. Again, this basically means where's the threat for flooding. And in this case, we're looking at marginal threats, so generally isolated flooding. The best chances will be in urban and low-lying and poor drainage areas. Looking at the tropics, we're quiet, and we know it's very early in the season, but right now, no areas of interest. Talking about how we've seen an improvement in drought, a lot of white on this map. So most places, the rainfall we've seen over the last 7 to 10 days has helped to eliminate the drought. We still have a few pockets of abnormally dry conditions, but that's mostly towards the coast. So, if we continue to see these scattered storms for the next 5 to 7 days, this should help keep the drought at bay. Looking ahead at the 8 to 14 temperature and precipitation outlook, looks like we have a very high probability of above normal temperatures. We'll continue to be hot and humid, and we're still generally in that slightly above normal chances for precipitation. Temperatures we're getting to be at our hottest part of the year as you get into late June and all the way into early August, where our highs are typically topped out. Our normal highs are in the upper 80s to around 90. Looking at the overall threat, you can see not a lot of colors there, just basically related to our daily diurnal showers and storms, and a little bit of heat there as we especially get into early next week. So I won't repeat myself here, but what you need to be on the lookout for is for those afternoon, evening showers and storms. Going to have potential for some isolated flooding, maybe even an isolated severe storm. With those are typical hazards, lightning. Anybody outdoors want to make sure you're monitoring the weather when it comes to storms. Potential for early morning fog, potentially dense. And while we don't expect excessive heat, we are going to have, expected heat levels that may impact vulnerable populations. So who are we talking about? We're talking about the elderly. We're talking about the young, anybody exposed to a long duration of being outdoors, someone that doesn't have air conditioning. So we should be thinking about those people and making sure they're safe during this still hot conditions.